Hello again, dear fans of ancient astrology, the true astrology, which is, of course, sidereal. So, I will lead you as much as I can through the month of November and its astrological events. First, of course, some comments for some positions that already happened in October that I was not able to comment. But let's just briefly go through them. There was Mercury and Mars conjunction, with which started the dance of Mercury and Mars, which will continue in November. The conjunction that happened was in the end of October. It was in Libra. I always thought that this is the most fitting sign for France. And guess what happened in France? They had big troubles in the Louvre. This theft that happened there. But Mercury and Mars, they're famous for criminal activity. And this is going on still. Have in mind, those conjunctions will continue throughout November. But they will be in Scorpio. Scorpio is not the sign of France. Scorpio is the sign of the Middle East. And according to some texts, is related also to Turkey. So I guess there will be more troubles of this and other sorts. This was one of the things, of course. Also, there is a comet that appeared, the so-called Lemon Comet. I guess I will be commenting about it in the future as well, but for now, let's just say this comet is not bright, does not have, like in this way, so strong effect. Lately it moved from the Big Bear constellation, Ursa Major, towards Bootes constellation. So the bear and Bootes represents a warrior. There the main star, the brightest star, is Arcturus. Arcturus comes from Arcturophylactus, which means defender. Maybe some of you will remember some heavy metal piece of the Manowar band. So the warrior who is a defender against the beast, which is the bear, right? And so the comet goes from the beast towards the defender. Well, symbolism is that the bear can be associated with high powers that are dictatorial, I can say. There was once even an astrological article about the significance and symbolism of the constellations and the countries which they are related to, so you can imagine what the bear, which country it can be, right? And of course, a comet is a symbol of trouble, problems. So initially, troubles happened in the high circles in such countries, dictatorial and others, those who are the strongest, but they move on to those who are defending. Those who are defending. So in this way, this simple logic can show important events in the days that are coming. Basically, everyone who is noble and defending the weak can have some more problems. But the comets are, of course, signs for countries. Well, it has a long cycle. This comet, like 13 centuries ago, it was there. This is interesting, but I will not go into the history of what happened 13 centuries ago because it's not so sure when it was exactly. So, I will remind you there was a quotation of Venus in Leo back in September, which the ancients are saying it signifies rebellion. However, the occultation was visible in Europe and Asia. Immediately, Nepal had rebellion, later the island of Madagascar, and strong civil unrest in different other places. The length of this meaning is until, I guess, almost Christmas. So still we can see such things. Also because the Venus was in occultation close to the royal star Regulus, we can see also certain princes already or not princes, stripped by their privileges and titles. Because of what? Because of things related to Venus. Sexual misconduct, the least to say. Right? So we can see this occultation is still affecting the world. Of course, it's not good also for women who are like artistic, like there was famous Italian actress that died soon after, and also women who are in high positions, like nobles, for example. As you can see, however, not only. I guess this was kind of related to the figure of the United Kingdom, King Charles, who has, I believe, the sun in Libra, ruled by Venus. So he was involved directly with the events, I mean, right? So this meaning is still there. Of course, when Venus is occulted, and the effect of this means that it's a like breaking point. When love somehow was destroyed and there is no like patience anymore, right? This is what provokes such events. Okay, so also on the days of the beginning of the fall, of the autumn, the Sun and Saturn they were in close opposition to each other, which is a sign for the entire season till the winter. Of course, the Sun and Saturn in opposition, it's a bad sign for rulers and kings, but it's not good for anyone, actually. So similar aspects will happen in the next solar station when the winter starts. So basically, strong Saturnian influence is already present. What is the role of Saturn? Saturn is always searching for order, for practical reality, and it will bring down anything that is not realistic. Why I'm talking like that? Because I can see, like as a person, I can see signs of economic troubles around, like in USA and in other places. But also some of the positions of the planets, as you hear, are also suggesting influence in this direction, let's say it like that. You hear now. But there are like very important topics also going on, like the government shutdown in USA, which was related to all those things, including Mercury Mars in the sign of diplomacy conjunction back in October. Mercury represents negotiations, and they will make conjunctions now, Mercury and Mars, in November. And this shows only the severity of the situation and the inability of reaching compromise. But because it's Scorpio and Mars is strong there will be very harsh decisions. There will be influence of extremely motivated political parties and even, I guess, hidden forces. that have political significance, which will actually force negotiations to become more effective. And the expectation that I have is that in the end of November, when Mercury makes better movements, as you hear, this is when this government crisis and the shutdown will be resolved. Okay? 28th, 29th of November is the time that I think this will happen. In the meantime, it will be not so easy. Okay. Also, will it be there like war with Venezuela? I took a look at the horoscope, probable horoscope of the president of Venezuela, which is a little doubtful because there are even disputes for his even place of birth. Anyway, I constructed it the way I think it is, and I think this guy does not have much time in power. Couple of months, I guess. A year the most. This is my opinion. How it will happen, I don't know. This is what I think. Okay, so also Mercury recently, including now, is in his greatest elongation. Elongation means the farthest distance from the sun that he can be, like around 22 degrees. In some places around the globe, he is visible because of this. Not much in the northern hemisphere, though. However, what it means? Well, Mercury, let's think a little bit about it. Mercury represents the working class and some people of the middle class, right? Also represents the ability for negotiation, communication, especially in such politics-related signs like Libra, that he was there, and now he's in Scorpio. Still away from the sun. The sun, of course, on the other hand, represents the government or the people who rule. And this distance, that is maximum distance, shows, of course, lack of alignment. But also in astrology, every maximum possible distance represents a process of achieving clarity and balance, possibly through conflict. And now, of course, this speaks about difficulties, about negotiations and achieving understanding. But, of course, now Mercury will start to go closer and closer, slowly, towards the sun. So, some more understanding and deals can be achieved. Right now, however, it's still very far. Okay, what else? Let's see. From here, I will proceed, I guess, with some of the most important topics of the month. First, Venus will be strong, by the way. Today, Venus makes a conjunction with the strong spiritual star of love, and this is the main star of Virgo. Tomorrow, even not tomorrow, this evening, Venus proceeds into the sidereal sign of Libra. So now Venus, in other words, becomes strong. Strong Venus, of course, is good for many things and promises for many people better time. So this month of November is very complex, but it has some good sides. The good sides are for some time until, 26th of November, Venus is strong. Then she becomes extremely weak, by the way. So it's total change. But until 26th of November, Venus is really, really good for everyone. And this is, I can say, a good time about Well, planning some vacation maybe, or some financial topics, or even love matters. I guess I can talk about this in some video in the days to come with more specifics for the different signs, etc. However, Venus is strong. Also, Mars is now strong. Mars is in Scorpio. Mars entered Scorpio on the 28th of October. The strength of Mars is welcome. It's welcome definitely because he represents business. He represents also the military, the security forces, the energy infrastructures, etc. However, Mars is invisible, which suggests weakness. But when he is in Scorpio, or in any sign that he is strong, the ancients are saying that he is similar to a person that is imprisoned in his own house, like not being able to do much, but still comfortable. So, of course, this is good for those who are ruled by Mars. They will have some relief in the next 45 days, some better conditions. This will be helping for short time for business as well, and even for the military. For them, however, some of the stations of the planets have something to say, so we will hear that in this video a little later. So, this is about Mars. Jupiter. Jupiter soon will enter Cancer for short time, only for 10-11 days. On the 6th of November, he enters until like 17th of November. He will be in Cancer. For short time, this will be also positive for those people who are ruled by Jupiter. So because three planets are becoming strong and they rule half of the signs of the zodiac, this is actually a great improvement for many people for some short period. Well, because Venus becomes weak on the 26th, and Jupiter turns from this good position on the 17th. So those 2 days, they will mark some negative changes. On the other hand, Mars stays strong the entire month. Mercury is very complex as usual, but in the end of the month becomes more positive, around 28th, 29th. There are also many other things that are going on. So this is like really complex month. Let's try to throw some light about those situations. First, well, Jupiter turning retrograde on the 10th of November in the sign of Cancer, first degree. The ancients are saying that this means that the wars and contentions among important spiritual and religious groups and wars, like real wars, will become more contentious, more brutal. Interesting, but this is what they say. So watch out. Of course, Jupiter symbolizes the religious people. Then on the 17th, so a week later, right, Jupiter, while still retrograde, he will be retrograde until the beginning of March. So he goes back into Gemini. And I believe you know that Gemini is a sign related to trade. But Jupiter in Gemini is a debilitated planet. He is not in good condition in Gemini. In addition, Jupiter signifies wealth and the wealthy people. So somehow things will be going backwards for those wealthy people and trading. And the ancient texts are saying something that is explaining actually those thoughts of me. So they say that the result of this entering retrograde into Gemini will be high prices. High prices. So instead of better prices, we'll have higher. For me, this sounds like some sort of correction that is coming to the market, like initially with higher prices, and maybe something else happens later, right? But of course, does not sound so great. Other important events. Saturn, in his current condition, he's in Pisces and in a certain direction from the Sun, and the ancients are commenting about that. When Saturn is in this position that he is now, basically, he will be like that. Yeah, he will be like that some more time until the spring, let's say it like this. In this condition, he shows that there will be, they say, ruin and dejection of the noble people and the elevation of those who are untitled. Interesting. Some of it we already see. Then he will turn direct. I think this is 28th of November. Yes, 28th of November, Saturn turns direct. He's turning direct in a way it's good news because retrograde Saturn is bringing delays in serious business and especially construction and mining, I guess, and even ocean trade. Turning direct is good for those areas. However, the ancients have to say something about that. So they say that this turning will indicate the demise of a prominent person. Okay, let's have this in mind. I will add that it can indicate more severe and cold weather, frost, and also potentially some troubles at the sea and the oceans. Let's hope not, but it's possible. Okay, so what else? Mercury will not only dance with Mars, but Mercury will be turning also retrograde. 10th of November, approximately the same time when Jupiter turns. So around 10th of November, it seems that many things start to go backwards. You know, the official, the situation when a planet is retrograde is considered to be making it like weaker. Mercury turns even on the 9th, actually. So 9th is Mercury, 10th is Jupiter. Retrogradation of Mercury can be felt even in the evening of... But no, it's still 9th. Okay, 9th November. Well, this turning, which will be in Scorpio, the ancients are saying is showing that things are not okay in the army, that things are not in order, and that there is some trouble potentially. And of course, which is this army? We don't know. I guess it's a universal thing. Okay, let's have it in mind. However, there is also something about happening in the last days that Mercury is away from the Sun. The ancients are saying, and this is already true for the last days, according to the text, they are saying that there are bad rumors again within the army. So those Mercury and Scorpio situations, they are affecting the military. with some travel, obviously, and bad rumors. Well, in USA, we can see the reasons for this, but it can be also in other places for other reasons, I guess. Okay. Again, when Jupiter is turning, being still in the beginning of Cancer, again, this is like 10, 11th of November, right? The ancients are saying that it means death of a person that is with high status. And it also says it means the grief of the king, probably because of that. So we can see somebody like that uh, having troubles. The king, of course, can be not only like official king, but somebody who is kind of dictatorial or ruling dictatorial country. Well, as you can see, it's interesting. Of course, the texts of the ancients are a little harsh because of the, well, harshness of the ancient times. But we can see that also current modern times are not always easy, right? So let's have this in mind. What else? When Jupiter is in Cancer for a short time, reminding you, enters 6th of November. The ancients are saying that this creates false hopes in the people. False hopes. Of course, in ancient times, medieval and antiquity, everywhere there was dictatorial rulership, which was very cruel, right? So there is a reason to say this. Today, the times are still a little different, at least in some places, like in the West, for example. So maybe those hopes will be not so false, but still they can prove to be, right? The thing is that Jupiter signifies progress and, well, most of all, higher principles and understanding and ethics and morality, entering Cancer, which is the basic sign of the world, the ascendant of the world, and in this way signifies the mass of all the peoples and the people, right? So yeah, there will be hopes. People will see some good things happening, but soon Jupiter turns retrograde and goes back in Gemini, and he returns only in June, when those things will be stronger. We'll comment about it when it comes. Reminding you my video about April. More and more I see people coming for readings. By the way, whoever wants to have a reading with me can message me on my email that is below the video, and we'll have a reading on good unadjusted to inflation price. So people are coming for readings, and constantly I see that in April, like everyone, it seems, has some bad aspects. Let's hope April will be not so disastrous. I mean, with the mundane political events between big countries. Okay. Maybe I covered some of the big things, but there is some more, right? So Mercury in the end, I mean 29th of November, he is both going out of invisibility for most of the northern hemisphere. He's still invisible until then. And it is rising and it is turning direct, which is very, very positive. Being retrograde, he will be already going back into Libra. And when he's turning, he will be together with a lucky and fortunate star. The star in Libra that is considered to be showing a good balance. In this way, good results. Libra, we know, is a sign of diplomacy and negotiations. That's why I said that this is the time I expect things will be resolved with the government shutdown crisis. But also this can be important for other negotiations in diplomacy between countries in conflict and in resolving military crisis. This is actually the best, the golden chance to achieve that, because after that, Mercury is not so pleasant anymore. And instead, he will become really, really difficult in April. Extremely difficult. So this is the chance. This is the chance for peace and for good results in negotiations. Everyone can have this in mind and try to use it. If he hopes for success in that. In addition, there is a statement of the ancients that when Mercury makes those movements exactly in this place, it means help for the people. This definitely sounds like resolving the crisis in USA, but also in other places which are, I guess, more social type countries, and even in those that are not, because this text comes from such times. It will mean help coming to the people, for the people, somehow. Of course, Libra, when there is some unity, when there is agreement, this becomes possible. This is also good for trading, of course, in that time, in this specific moment. Some improvement of the market, I guess, will happen 28th, 29th of November. Some positive correction. I'm reminding you though, 26th of November, Venus is entering already difficult sign. And after that, we go into a much more complex position of Venus. I will devote a separate video on this month, especially only on the condition of Venus and what it means. But the fact that Venus becomes more difficult, end of November, Jupiter turning retrograde into sign of trade, meaning high prices, and Mercury being good for some short time, golden opportunity, but later he will be, of course, going again in Scorpio. So all those things are showing that economically, things are becoming dangerous. So whoever can react in time to do something, let's do it fast. Okay. Let's see what else. It's a rich month of events. Tomorrow, 3rd of November, Neptune makes retrograde conjunction with the fixed star Sheat, which is the second in brightness in Pegasus constellation. I made earlier in the year some video about that. Neptune with this star is definitely accentuating on the importance of compassion and love and help to people who are amidst big tragedy, like I guess those who need help right now in Jamaica and others. So this can also provoke potentially greater psychological crisis for some people because this star is related to such tendencies. However, the effect of Neptune with this star the last time in 1865 and around those years was about fighting social injustices all over the globe, not only in USA. So it's a retrograde motion, which means going back to things that are still not clearly understood and that require some action. Neptune will return to the star after a couple of months. I will comment upon it again. I guess I will give more comment about it already, but yeah, have this in mind. Also, people will be born now who are knights of social justice in the future. Okay. 6th of November, when Jupiter enters the sign of Cancer, also there is a spiritual star rising. 6th of November is a kind of very strong day for spiritual practice or aligning oneself with the highest principles of love and spirituality. It can be a very special day, actually, for many people. So let's see. There are many other details, but as I'm intending to have some weekly videos throughout the month this time, so let's see. I will mention all those. Let's also say that Mercury and Mars conjunctions and the fact that Uranus is on the other side of these conjunctions in opposition is not great for air travel throughout the month. The most challenging moments are the following. Like in days, we have, let's see, Mars opposing Uranus. 4th of November is a dangerous day for air travel, and it can be a bad day for those things. In USA especially, we know there is a crisis and shortage of staff and troubles with people working in the airport. So, dangerous day, 4th of November. Then there will be a conjunction between Mercury and Mars, which is always indication of more accidents of every kind in logistics and transportation. I'll track when exactly is this. 12th of November. Retrograde Mercury with direct Mars in Scorpio. This is not good for air travel or also driving. Watch out. I do not recommend long travels on this day. Definitely. Thing is, then Mercury will make a conjunction with the Moon and the Sun. But because Mercury is in a malefic sign, it can exert some challenging influence. So this is also important to know when it happens with the same warnings. This is the evening of 20th November and of 19th November, actually. So 19th and 20th November, let's put it like this. Mercury with the Moon and the Sun in exact conjunction, the so-called new Moon conjunction, will be together with Mercury. This, of course, indicates very important phase of negotiations and political activity, but of course, danger of also of fraud and deception. So it is happening in that time. And I also Mercury opposing Uranus. On the 19th of November, so this fits again with the same story. Then, however, the Sun goes against Uranus on the 21st of November. So as you can see, 19th, 20th, 21st can be full of trouble, especially for air travel. So avoid it. I'm not saying something has to happen, but it's more probable in that time. Okay. Usually, when there are such bad aspects, something really is happening, like some more accidents in the air. 25th of November, Mercury and Venus conjunct together. This sounds much better for travel, by the way, and also for success in negotiations and deals. Have this in mind. Well, must check, but I guess this will be the information for now, for the month. And I will go into more details in the days to come for some additional topics. But let's be surprised, so you hear about that soon. Well, maybe I'm like too serious when I'm talking about astrology sometimes, but I look at it in this way, I guess. Anyway, I'm reminding you that 3 planets are very strong most of the time this month, and this actually classifies the month as a better month compared to many other months, whatever else is going on. Because 3 strong planets means that 6 of the houses of your horoscope will yield better results. And of course, this is good. So actually expect kind of good month, I can say, in many ways. This is it from me for now. So see you soon. I'm reminding you, if anyone needs a reading with me, he can message me on my email, and soon enough we'll talk. Take care, have a good time, and see you soon. Bye.